Hello there, welcome to my channel, New Beginnings, my everyday life in rural Cyprus. Just adjusting you so you can see better rather than look at my ceiling. So we're going to have a bit of a relaxed, fun live today because Monday killed me. Did you see my live on Monday? Thank you to those of you that have commented or were here on the live chat. Thank you very much. And I did mention on that live that there's a video that I'm sending you to from my friend Ginis' channel. So that's Ginis Point. And I actually asked her to make a very specific video for me on her channel, something I wanted to see, but couldn't see, doesn't exist in a lot of countries, and she made the video for me really quickly, and it's a great video. I've linked it at the top of the description under this live, the link to it, so you can go and see what that's all about. And also I've linked it at the top of this chat, so if you're watching and you come in the chat, it's there. But if you can't get the chat later, then it's linked directly, the first thing under this live. And it's a machine for cutting pineapples, not something you have in your home, not a corer or peeler that you'd have in your home. It's something you can get in Florida, is the only place I've seen of it, in Florida, in the supermarkets. And it's like a big, you know, if you get Coke or something, cans of Coke, a dispenser, it's a big machine like that, and it's really awesome. So thank you, Jeannie, for that. I really appreciated that. I have given her a shout out and a link to that video also on my community post today, so you'll see it there as well. If you forget to see it here, you'll see it there. Okie doke. Let's start first of all today with something we often start with on a Wednesday, and that is our puzzle piece for Wednesday. If you get the answer in the chat before the end of the video, at the end of the live, then you get the applause. First one who gets it right in the chat. If nobody gets it in the chat before towards the end of this live, then I get the applause. So let's see what today's one is. Okay, today's puzzle piece is this. What is the name of the highest building in London, in England? And I'll give you a huge clue. Its name is its address. So the address of the building is the answer, because that is its true name. So the true name of the building is the address. So it's not funny names. I don't want, like, if there's made up names for it or what people refer to it as. I want the actual name of the highest building in London, and it is an address. So that is the answer you are looking for, an actual address, which is the name of the building. That is all I'm accepting, the actual address, which is its true name. Whether it be known by other names as well, they are not being accepted as the answer. Have I clarified that enough times? So that is what we are doing there. Let's also do, before I sometimes forget, I'm going to do some new quote corners soon. I've just had so much backlog of things I need to edit and prep, so I will get around to those. And while you're watching it, I'm going to put that up on the board of my to-do, which is there. So yes, new quote corners coming soon. Today I was on Canva, which is how I make the quote corners. I was on Canva. There was a video I wanted to make that I've been promising you guys for a while. I keep saying I want to do it, and it's companion planting, mostly for vegetables because that's more that what I'm into, but herbs as well. What you should plant with what, and also what you must not plant with certain vegetables and herbs. And I knew it would take me ages because I wanted to make that one on Canva, so it would be a bit more visual rather than me just telling you. I wanted to do it more visual, and then I had to keep uploading pictures of my vegetables into it, and it was a lot backwards and forwards and typing everything in, but I'm pleased with it. It looks pretty good. So, and then I take it out of Canva and then I put my music to it after that. So I've done that. That's done. Maybe I'll post it next week, maybe the week after, because I've just done a gardening one of was posted today. It's a gardening glossary, so it's different words and terms used in gardening, and I tell you what they all mean. So if you're new to gardening, or if you're not, perhaps look through those videos and see how many you know. So it's words and terms. I can't remember what episode number this is, but I'm doing them in alphabetical order. So that I've just posted, so maybe I'll do something else between and then do that, because I try and insert gardening ones between other things. This was never meant to be a gardening channel, but they are, apart from the animal ones, I would say my gardening ones are my highest viewed things. Oh no, my salvage videos, they hit the roof. The ones where I go to the dump and salvage things and then show you what I've salvaged or what I'm going to use them for. They're my highest rated videos. Okay, we've got a comment in. Let me just have a looky. Hey, we have living my best life at 60. Good morning to you. Yes, you know, of course, for me it is 5:38 p.m. 5:38 p.m, which is why I say to you all, if you've got a video or a live after I've finished, I'm not very likely to come and watch it, even though, oh, but Dawn's around, why is she not popping in? And normally it's because I'm done with my brain damage. By the end of the live, I'm done for the day, so I don't normally do that. So yes, guys, do go and check out anyone's channel that I mention in my chats. So we're going to go over, hopefully, and check out living my best life at 60. And as I always say, while you're over there, if you like what you see, subscribe and hit the thumbs up. So do go and have a look over there. Yes, you didn't realise the time difference. When people are quite new to my channel, they don't realise where Cyprus is often. I have got a video showing exactly where Cyprus is, and then you're like, wow, you're way over there. Some people think we're in Europe. We're not in Europe. We're sort of Africa way. That's why it's so hot here most of the time. So, yeah, Israel. Most of you know where Israel is, we're not far ahead there. 7 hours ahead of you, yes. Which is why for YouTube, it's a very difficult country to get lots of viewers, because obviously my time's completely different to everyone else's. Most of the Americans I get, and Canadians, obviously most of you are just about getting up or have just got up, because you've got quite a long time span of differences there by a couple of hours across the country. So yeah, I can tell you it's going to be a great day, Echo. It's going to be a great day. I've lived it. So yeah, it's very difficult. And obviously things such as, let's say, Americans, because that's a massive country, Americans watch other Americans and so on and so forth. So I notice I keep saying so on and so forth in my videos as I'm editing. Where Cyprus, it's a very small country. social media is not a thing here, really. You certainly don't see people going around filming all the time, only tourists. And we're not allowed to film in shops and that kind of thing, shops, or it would be like not very nice, and it's not allowed. It's actually illegal to film in shops and that. So how a lot of you guys can film literally everywhere you go. And I wanted to be a vlogger. I wanted to be a daily vlogger, but there's so little I can actually film out and about. I can do, like, that's why you see my walks and places of interest, but you'll never see me filming inside a shop. Yes, so that's very difficult. Okay, so recapping on the puzzle piece today. The puzzle today is, what is the address of the highest building in London? And the real name of it is its address. So, as I say, don't give me the common name for it, or what some people refer to it as. The actual address of the building is its actual title of the building. So what is the address of the highest building in London, in England? Living my best life at 60 says, were you born there or elsewhere? Elsewhere. Elsewhere. Can you? A lot of people say they can tell my accent. I don't know. I suppose you can. I was born elsewhere. But I feel Cypriot. I actually had a serious medical emergency here, and I lost so much blood they thought I was a goner. All my internal organs failed at the same time, and that's to do with my brain damage. My brain shut off and everything malfunctioned at once. And I had so much blood, and I say I have Cypriot blood now. I have Cypriot blood, so I do feel this is my home. I really do. I feel this is the place I was meant to be. So I love it. I love it very much. Okay, while you're pondering on today's puzzle piece, let's do something else that I do most Wednesdays, is this. Now, I haven't actually done anything more than what you saw last Wednesday, and that's because on Friday, for my live on my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, for my live, I thought I'm going to start a jigsaw puzzle, and I can do that for my live. And then if people don't come into the chat, I can just be doing my puzzle with music. So I started that. And obviously, because I've started that, I want to do the puzzle. So if you look at my shorts, I'm showing updates of that since the live. So you will see that. So I haven't done anything more to the cross stitch, but some of you might not have seen where I'm up to so far. Steve last week guessed, is it a waterfall? Someone else guessed. What did someone else guess? But anyway, none of it's right guesses yet. And the question is, what is it? And I was saying this bit over this side. No, not this side, this side. Right at the bottom there, it looks like a shark going off the picture. The bit that's not done as cross stitch yet looks like an eye of a dolphin or a shark. I thought someone was going, it's something under the sea or something like that. But no, it's not that. So that's my current cross stitch project. Got to go down quite a bit more yet. I'm going to go down to the bottom because there's a lot of this dark colour down to the bottom. Then maybe I'm going to go all the way along the bottom because that will give more idea of the size. So that's my cross stitch. As I say, nothing done since last week. Let me just pop that away. When you have cats, you have to keep your things away. away. Oh, and if you like my cats, there's been quite a few shorts lately of those as well. Two Doves Bees and Gardens is in. Hello to you, John and Sarah. And as always, guys, go over, check out Two Doves Bees and Gardens, give them a thumbs up and hit their subscribe button. Echo says, living my best life at 60. I love puzzles. Yes, my friend gives them to me. I've got a few of my own, but my friend gives them to me to borrow. And then there's actually a whole stash of them. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 still over there that I haven't done. That's another reason I thought I must do some so I can give some back to her. And we all pass them around. There's a group that passes them all round, so we all get to do different ones. And yes, I think you know my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. There's a playlist there. I think it might be called Hobbies or something like that, Hobbies and Pastimes, something like that. And on there, I film as I'm doing a puzzle. I don't film the whole thing, but I time lapse and do like main features of it from start to finish. So if you like watching puzzles being done, then go and have a look over there. Okay, so we've done craft update. Let's do a little interlude while I sort out what I'm doing next. Yes, something I was talking about last Wednesday on my live, and we were talking about board games. What's people's favourite board games? And I talked about one specifically, and I said, I've still got that. I'm going to get it out and show you it next Wednesday. Well, I remembered because I wrote it on my whiteboard here. That's my brain. So I wrote it on there and I got it out just before I started, and I'm going to share that with you. So the game, I thought it was called Sherlock Holmes or something like that. It's actually called the Master Detective Game, but you'll see why I thought it was called Sherlock Holmes, because on the top it says 221B Baker Street, which is where Sherlock Holmes resided, and there is Sherlock Holmes. And it says age 10 to adult for 2 to 6 players. I got rid of so many of my games, but there was a lot I did keep as well. And it says on the side, don the mantle of Sherlock Holmes and match your wits against the other players to determine who possesses the most skillful. Well, that's spelt wrong. Do you Americans spell skillful with one L, SKILFUL? Or is that a misprint? Because we spell it SKILLFUL. Deductive powers contains 40 original cased adventures, clues, and solutions. I wonder if that's a misprint. I know you Americans spell things differently, but where is this made? Where's the company? Gibson's Games, made in England. So that's a spelling error. That's pretty bad. Okay, so this is the board. And I was trying to explain, it's sort of like a map, like Cluedo we call it, but Americans say Clue, a bit like the game that. Similar to that, where you go to certain places. I don't know how well you can see the names of the places, so I'll read it. I'll just put it closer so you can see the drawings. They're all drawn like Victorian times. There's Pawnbroker, the Boar's Head, which is a pub, the Docks, Museum, Theatre, Tobacconist, Locksmith, Newsagent, Chemist, 221B Baker Street, Hotel, carriage depot, and it says from here you can take a hansom cab to anywhere on the board. If you don't know hansom cab, that's like the cart with a horse driving. They were like the taxi cabs. There's a park, there's a bank, and there's Scotland Yard. Not New Scotland Yard, Scotland Yard as it was then. So I'll try and show you sort of a bit more close because the drawings are really, really good. That's the dock. Really nice artwork. Some are on this side, obviously. They're all facing different directions. That's the theatre in the middle. There's the carriage depot. Don't know if you can see the horse and carts. That one's upside down. That's the bank. That's Scotland Yard. That's the park upside down. Should I turn it round? It's because they're all different directions, obviously. There we go. That's the park. Hope you can see it because I think the drawings are really good. What's this one here? 221B Baker Street. That's that way up then. There, 221B Baker Street with the old gas street lamps. Chemist. Newsagent. Did I say that one? I don't remember saying that one. Locksmith. So yes, really, really nice on there. Very nice pictures for a start. Quality game. Two Doves says we use 1L. Thank you for that. It's very interesting, but it's saying it's made in England. Who knows? So then you've got like the game of Clue or Cluedo. You've got like a list. You kind of go wherever you want to go, and then you can like tick things off and write comments and whatever. So you've got one of those each. Plain pieces, not very interesting. They could have done better with that. They're just standard wooden, all different colours. That looks yellow on my screen. But it's a red orange. But to me, I'm like, there, look there on the screen I'm looking at. That looks yellow, but that's like orangey red, blue, black, green, red, and a dark purple. That's quite close to black. Oh no, it's not. It's brown. It's a brown. That looks more yellowy, but that's a very dark brown. That's almost black. Then you've got cards. I think these are the crimes. So this is the crime. I think you read out the crimes. Yes, you read out the crimes. There's dice to move round. Then you get a booklet. This is rules, clues and solutions for cases numbers 1 to 40. Now, what I liked about games in the 70s and I believe 80s, 70s, 80s maybe, that you could always buy add-on packages. So if you've exhausted this, unless you played all the time, I don't think you would, but if you exhausted it, you could buy another pack, which was always a good thing. I won't read it all out because it's quite a thick book. Let's do a synopsis. Basic play. All players start 221B Baker Street. Roll the dice to determine who starts. Blah, blah, blah. The procedure of play is to roll the dice on your turn and move to the various locations on the board, picking up clues which will help you in solving the case you are playing. An average game with 4 players will last around 1 hour and 20 minutes. At the end of each adventure, the items to be solved are listed, preceded by letters A, B, C, D, etc. These are the items you must solve in order to win the game. Wow. There are 14 locations on the board. Each of the locations is listed on the case card, followed by a number. These numbers correspond to the clue numbers listed in the clue booklet. When you move to a location, you're entitled to look at the clue which corresponds to that location. You may study the clue for up to 30 seconds. You're on your honour to look at only the clue you're entitled to see. Once you put the clue booklet down, you may not pick it up again to recheck the clue. And if I remember rightly, they're all random in the book, so you can't be looking at several for your case, but that's saying not to turn the pages and look at other things. Types of clue. There are two basic types of clues. One, the general statement clue, and two, the puzzle clue. The general statement clue simply gives a statement of fact about the case being played, such as a clue might say, Stanley Harris has a bad case of asthma, or Alice was seen outside the Boar's Head on the night of the murder. The puzzle clue is usually a syllable clue to a specific item, killer, weapon, motive, hiding place, or whatever, and is labelled as such. For example, a puzzle clue might read, killer clue, 4 parts. Part 1, Capone's first name. Notice there are 4 parts to the clue, and you now have the first part listed. This means there are 3 more parts to the killer clue, listed either separately or together at some other location or locations on the board. Scotland Yard cards. Each player starts the game with 1 Scotland Yard card. Where were they then? Oh, here. Scotland Yard cards. And there's also key cards. So you start with 1 Scotland Yard card. You may never hold more than 1 card at a time. A Scotland Yard card may be used to seal off a location you have entered. Oh, I like that. In order to keep other players from entering that location and discovering the clue there. Obviously, you could red herring, couldn't you, and just put it where it's useless information or no information. To do this, you simply place the Scotland Yard card over the location entrance on the board as you leave. Note, you may seal off any location on the board except 221B Baker Street, Scotland Yard, or the locksmith shop. You may not seal off a location if a player's inside. Skeleton key cards. Each player starts the game with 1 skeleton key card. You may never hold more than 1. A skeleton key card must be used to open any location that has been sealed off by another player. To do this, you simply place your skeleton key card on top of the Scotland Yard card, which is blocking the entrance to the location where you have arrived. Then remove both cards from the board and place them back on their piles at Scotland Yard and the locksmith shop. Scotland Yard. If you enter Scotland Yard and you do not have a Scotland Yard card in your possession, you may take one from the pile. You do this in addition to looking at the clue there. Same with the locksmith. Carriage depot. From the carriage depot, you may, without rolling the dice, take a cab to any location on the board. That's cool. Usually after moving into a carriage depot, you want to check the clue there. Then on your return, without rolling the dice, you may move your token directly to any location you wish. If, however, you move into the carriage depot and you don't wish to check the carriage depot clue, you may immediately move your token to another location and check that clue, all in the same turn. Keeping notes. Use your solution checklist sheet, front and back, for keeping notes. It's advisable to check off the location after you've entered it and keep track of all the clues, however insignificant they may seem at the time. Ooh, it's quite good. I remember it was a good game. As I say, I got rid of a lot of games, but I knew the good games and not the children-y games. Winning the game. When you think you've solved all the lettered items listed at the end of the case you're playing, return to 221B Baker Street via your regular turns, roll the dice and announce your solution. To win, you must give the correct answer to all the lettered items in the case, for example, killer, weapon, motive. But you do not have to explain or understand the case. After announcing your solution, take the answer booklet and look up the answers to the case you're playing. When doing this, be careful not to read the answers to any other case. If your answers are correct, declare yourself the winner and let all the Watsons read the solution in the answer booklet. If your answers are not correct, however, close the answer booklet and you're out of the game. The other players continue playing without you until someone arrives at the correct solution. When announcing your answers, you do not have to give the exact answer listed as long as you show that you thoroughly understand the proper solution. For example, if the motive listed in the answer booklet says inheritance, and you say she killed him because she knew all his money would go to her, then of course that's acceptable. But if you say the motive was blackmail, then of course you're wrong. Also, if a player misreads puzzle clues, for instance, if he says the motive was brown man, when it should be black male, brown man, black male, he is wrong, showing he didn't comprehend the proper solution to the case. Location entrances, a separate square of the main pathway marks the entrance to each location. You must count at least one extra move beyond the square. Exact throw is not necessary to enter the building itself and check the clue. The park and the docks have more than one entrance and exit. You may use any entrance or exit when visiting these places. But a Scotland Yard card will only seal off one entrance to these locations. Final note, when deciding where to look for clues, pay close attention to the information supplied on the case card and in other clues. For example, if you know that a bent pipe cleaner was found at the scene of a crime, you might summarise that the tobacconist would be a good place then to go and look for a clue. If the crime occurred at the hotel, obviously you will find a substantial clue at the hotel. That's pretty cool. I remember that. So that's why I kept that one. I think that's a pretty good game. What do you think? Let me know what you think of that one. Would you like to see other games I still have or not? Let me know, yay or nay. That would be interesting. I have shown some of them before, but I can't remember what games I've shown before. But then if you're newer to my channel, you probably haven't seen them anyway. So, okay, let's go back to our puzzle piece of the day. So the question today is, and I'll do the answer shortly, the question is, what is the address of the highest building in London? And as I said before, the actual true name of the building is its address. So I don't want the names people use for it. I want the real name of it, which is its address of the highest building in London. Okay, let's have a little bit of a laugh now and do this. Okay, this one goes like this. A highly motivated young lady had recently completed her course of training as a primary school teacher and took up her first appointment at a new progressive school. On her first day, she had been thrilled by the rapport she had established with her young pupils, and in the last half hour before the school day ended, she decided to experiment with the progressive methods of education which she had been taught, and encouraged the children to search for knowledge themselves. Let us, she said, for the last half hour, explore the world we live in. The children readily agreed, and in the last couple of minutes before the bell rang to end the day, One youngster, Johnny Smith, said, "Excuse me, miss, but what is the weight of the world?" Neither her major course in geography at the College of Education, nor indeed her extra year specialising for her Bachelor of Education degree had provided the answer to this simple problem. However, not for nothing, she had preserved with all the education modules presented to her during her 4 years training, and so she said, "Now, that is a good question, Johnny, and I suggest all of you should call in at the library on your way home and see if you can find out the weight of the world." The bell rang, and off the children went, and the young teacher dashed off to the main library in the city and mercifully found the answer. First thing next morning after assembly, she faced her class and said, "Well, who found the answer to Johnny's question?" Not a single response. So feeling very confident, she said, "Well, it was a very difficult question for you all, but here is the answer." And she wrote the number on the board. I'll do it in the chat in a minute so you can see what the answer is in case you're interested. So she wrote the answer on the board. Still no response, except that Johnny, who had asked the original question, put up his hand and said, "Please, miss, is that with or without the people?" So let's type in the comments the weight of the world. Let's see. Let me copy it. 5 887 613 230 000 000 000 tons. And that is the answer. And if you can remember that, you can really wow people with, the weight of the world. I thought it was going to be like, "Oh, the weight of the world's on my shoulders." And the boy was asking, "Oh, what's the weight of the world?" Because Mummy says the weight of the world's on her shoulders. But it wasn't. It was genuine, that one. It was genuine. So, yes. That is the weight of the world. And don't tell me you knew that. Does it still weigh the same? That's the question. That's the question. Does it still weigh the same? Who knows? Maybe one of you could look it up and tell me if it's changed. Okay, let's move on to this. Okay, I'm just finding my questions. Finding questions to answer today. Let me see. See if I've missed any. Let me see. Let me see. We've done those. Here we go. Okay, what is your favourite sport? Now, I don't really like sport. And I know some of you say dancing is a sport. It is not. It is not. It is an art. Dance is an art. Oh, look, I'm wearing the right T-shirt today. Can you see it? I live to dance. I dance to live. And that was true because that was my job. That was my job. So I don't count dance. Dance, no. Sport. I don't really like sport. At school, rounders, which is like a simplified version of baseball, if any of you don't know what rounders is, that was fun. I didn't like any sport at school, certainly not running. No, not running. So not really athletics, although at school we did javelin. That wasn't too bad. I was actually very good at hurdles because a dancer. Duh. And I don't know if you know, when you do hurdles, you have to front leg goes straight over, and then you kind of, I can't do the arm the right way. You like hitch your leg like almost 90 degrees, but then lift the thigh up. That's what you do with your back leg. And I used to show off. I used to do like split leaps over the hurdles. And the teacher said, that's very nice, but that's not right. But I could actually go further by doing that than doing with the back leg up. So I was good at hurdles. I was very good at long jump as well, maybe the same reason. I didn't like high jump. So I just used to goof that one off. I didn't really do high jump. Good saying says living my best life at 60. I did tennis at school, in high school, and I've talked about before, I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. If you're into Wimbledon tennis, there was a female tennis player at Wimbledon called Sue Barker. And I had her tennis coach. So wasn't that Tom Potter? I think it's Tom Potter. I think Tom Potter was his name. And I had him as my tennis coach. So I did that for a while. Well, I like snooker. That's a sport. See, I like the games, not the exercise. We did trampolining in high school, and I thought I would like that. I'm not very good like height up and down, hence I didn't like to do the high jump. So I actually didn't like that at all. I thought I would like that, but I didn't like that. I did ice skating at high school, which I've told the story all about ice skating, how I got to go ice skating with the school for PE or physical education. I've told that story. If you don't know it, you want to know, then ask and I'll tell you another time. Gymnastics, I did acrobatics at stage school, so it's all opposite of what you're told you do, like how you start. You never do this sort of pose with the hands in acrobatics. You know, they go at the end and hyperextend their elbows. You mustn't do that in acrobatic exams or you don't pass. So everything, and they stick their chest out, don't they, when they stand gymnastics like this. You don't do that in acrobatics. So that was very against everything that I had to do. What else? Oh, if I tell you a sport I'd like to watch, that's very hard as well. Oh, I did basketball for a short time at high school, and we never learnt it properly, and we didn't do it for very long. So I think I would have liked that because it's sort of fast netball. Netball was all right. What was I going to say when I interrupted myself? Oh, if I've got to say sport I like to watch, there's not really much I like to watch either. I'd rather be doing than watching. But I do like watching gymnastics, but only the rhythm gymnastics. So when they do floor, I don't like all the beams and hanging on the bars and all that. I don't like all that. But the actual, because I like dance, so I like the floor work gymnastics. I like the group when they do floor. I like that better because it's like dance. And I like the ribbon when they dance with the big ribbon gymnastics. That's probably my favourite. And then the ball and the skittle. What's the other thing? There's 4 things they use in rhythm gymnastics: ribbon, ball, skittle. Oh, hoop. I like the hoop one. The hoop and the ribbon, my 2 favourites. And I taught ribbon dance and I taught hoop dance. So that's probably why I like them. They're more dancey and they're skillful. I don't want to watch football with men running around chasing a ball. I don't. Oh Cricket, I can't abide that. That's just so slow. I'd rather play rounders. Other sports. What was the question? What do I like? My favourite sport? Well, that I've told you my favourite sport to watch. So it's rhythm gymnastics, ribbon and hoop, my most favourites. But to do, I'll say snooker. I like pool. Pool's better than snooker. But I will say, yeah, if I've got to play a sport, I will play snooker. Yes, snooker. And that is a sport. But see, it's a game. I certainly wouldn't do running or track. I was always told to do the 800 metre where you pass the baton between 4 people. 400 or 800 metre? 800, I think. I was always roped into that. But yeah, that's my answer. Okay, let's do another question. Group activities or solo? That depends on what the thing is, doesn't it? Depends on what the thing is. They always say that you miss work when you leave work. I miss the group aspect of work, going to work and being with people, and so I miss that. But I would choose not to go to work with the choice. But yeah, I miss that. So I miss group. But I would rather be solo, doing my own thing. If I've got to pick one, I'm going to pick solo. Group activities or solo. There's some things you can't do as a group, and there's some things you can't do as solo. Well, it'd be fun if they did, like proper skiing down the slopes, and you had to have on the long skis 2 people on the same 2 skis, like dual. That would be a really good sport. Wouldn't that be fun? That would be really fun. Have one in front of the other, like tandem skiing. That could be quite dangerous. So there's some things you can't do as a group. Group activities or solo, yeah. I mean, my favourite pastime is my cross stitch. Yes, you could sit round in a group and do it, but you're not really going to work together on it. I'm going solo. I'm going to say solo. Obviously, debating solo, that wouldn't work if you like debating. Well, mind you, look at my lives. I end up just talking to myself half the time. Okay, what should we have now? What do you collect? What do you collect? Like to collect books, but not just reading books. Books where I'm particularly at the moment looking out for. I've moved them now just over there, so I can't show you. I can't get them. They're just there, but normally they're just here. Someone will come on now, I think. Where have I gone? Right, these are my more recent books. I'm trying to collect wildflower books. I think I'm good on that now. Bird books, I think I'm good on that. And I want insect books. Insects of Cyprus. So this one I've got recently. These are all from charity shops, and I like that, the search for them. This is Garden and Field Birds, Eggs and Nest. Oh, got hiccups now. So there's that one. And this one was €1. And I like this one because, as they say, it's the eggs, the birds and the nest. So you've got all that information. There's a page on each bird, and there's quite a lot of good information on there. There's the bird book I'm reading. I read to you sometimes on Mondays. That's Mike's book. And that's not Cyprus, but a lot of the birds are the same. This one, again, was €1. I get them mostly from one particular charity shop, and all books are €1. This one's Wildflowers. This is of Britain and Northern Europe. A lot of them are the same. So there's that one. And I've said before, I've showed this before, and I like it because it reminds me of like a botany book, an old-fashioned botany book, and each page is similar flowers. You can go, oh, that one. No, not quite. Oh, that one. So I like this one. That's very good for identifying. I have shown these before. I think I showed them in a video when I got them. I'll show you what I get from the charity shops when I go there. The pictures are really good. Really good pictures. So there's that one. There's this one I've had for some time. It's falling apart now. I've got this here. I think my friend gave it to me, this one. I think these next two my friend gave me. She knew I was looking for them and she came across these. Wildflowers of Cyprus. Now that is perfect because I really want Cyprus books on Cyprus. There's that one. As I say, it's falling apart quite badly. This one is only good for finding out what the thing is called. There's not really information on them. So this is identifying and getting like the correct name for them. So I have to cross-reference this. I find the like real name, the Latin, the proper botanic name for them, and then I look it up in my other books. So this one is the best one for the flowers. This one's The Floral Charm of Cyprus. There, so again, Cyprus. And I like this one because it's in month order. So it goes through the whole year. So you don't have to go searching through the whole book to, oh, where's the one I'm looking at today? You just go to the month of when you're looking. And this gives you good information. It tells you what they're used for in Cyprus, whether it's medicinal or something else. So this one is a good all-rounder. And it's got the Cypriot name for the plant, the Latin name for the plant, and the common name for each plant. So I like that one. That's my favourite one. It's my favourite. And then this one I got recently. So this must have been €1. This is Wildflowers. This owns Britain and Europe, but again, a lot are the same. And this is very much like that last book. It's not done monthly. This is done in regions. So the first region is woodlands and hedgerows. The next section is flowers and weeds. You will find in pastures and meadows. The next section is ones you'll find near rivers, lakes and marshes. The next section is ones you'll find heaths, moors and mountains. Guess what section I look in mostly. And the last section, yes, is ones found in man-made habitats, such as the common poppy. Now with this, it's not in month order because it's in the order I've just said, but you can see there's a little date graph down the side, little bars there, and they colour in which months you will find them. So this is, I would say, as good as the last book in a different way, So yeah, it's just finding what section. So this one, though, I do have to go through the whole book to try and find what I'm looking for. Oh, coast. I didn't see that section. There's coastal ones. I might have missed some sections out. And this one is heaths, moors and mountains. And as you can see or not, there's quite a bit about them, characteristics, range and habitat, similar species. So that's a good cross-reference because you're like, it's like that, but not quite. Then you look at the similar species and then you look that up as well. So that one I would say is probably as good, but in a different way to the last book I just showed you. So yeah, so the question was, what am I collecting? So I'm collecting nature books, if you like, of Cyprus mostly at the moment, I would say that. And as I say, looking for an insect book, there was a wonderful one. Oh, I've got a little thin booklet somewhere. I showed you in one of my last videos where I got from the charity shop, and it's got about 3 or 4 pages of insects. So there's all different types of insects. There's, like, say, a ladybird page, a dragonfly page, a butterfly page, moth page, like that. There's a little bit. So I have got something, but it's not Cyprus. And I have got a few bits and pieces, sheets on a few bits. But there was a lovely, lovely, I think it was a set of books or a couple of books in the auction a few months ago. And they were like real biology books, if you like. And they had the diagrams of the insects and the innards, what it looked like, cut, but like sections, what do you call it, sections dissected. It had all that in it, and must have been like literally every bug you could think of. And as it was in the auction online, you couldn't really see how thick the books were, but they must have been. I think the starting price was something like 15 or 20 euros. And I was like, I'll do that. I really want these books. They're exactly what I was looking for. And when it came to that lot number, they already had, you can put in bids in advance, like pre-book bids. And I think it went to something like, it was 30 or 40 euros before you'd even started bidding. And I said to myself, I just can't justify that. And I wish now, when I saw it in the online at the Cyprus auction, I wish I'd tried to see if I could work out the name and the book, and you might not have been able to see that on the pictures, but I think they went to something ridiculous like 60 euros or something, and there were 2 people bidding. And I was like, no, I wouldn't have gone to that anyway. So it was a case of, if I had a bit more money, I would have. That was way too much. But who knows? They might be really huge books, and I doubt if you'd ever find those again. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm on the lookout for Cyprus insects. So that's really my hunt. And as I say, my hobby is, we don't just go out and go to charity shops. But if we're in town, there's a couple that we know of that are quite good. I'll always go in and look for the books. So I say, not reading books. You can get reading books anywhere. I'm on the hunt for, I think that's all I want, insect books. I'm all right on birds. I'm all right on wildflowers now. I think just insects, animals, like lizards and geckos and that kind of thing. They'll probably be within the end of that sort of book. Who knows? Okay, let's do the answer to the puzzle piece of today. So the puzzle piece today was, what is the address of the highest building in London? And it's the real name of the building. It is 22 Bishop's Gate. I wonder how many people who are ex-English, expats, or even people who are from England, how many of you know that? Because a lot of these buildings, they just made names of what they looked like and whatever. They're not their real names. They're not their real names. They're just like common names that people called them. But it's 22 Bishopsgate. That is the tallest building in London. Thanks for watching. Thanks for those who popped in the chat. And I will see you again on Friday on my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, or back here again on Monday. Until then, as always, Meraki.